So let's see the next posture, Chaturanga, which is a 4-limb posture. So we're gonna balance the whole weight in our arms and our feet. So it's similar like Tadasana, like we're maintaining all the action in our body, like from our heels to knees to buttocks, back, shoulders, head, neck in a one line. And in this position, I slowly bend the elbows. So for example, I'm doing Chaturanga in a standing position, standing Chaturanga, right? So, but yeah, once we understand the Tadasana, or we become more comfortable to practicing Tadasana, so we can perform the Chaturanga, we can develop the awareness when we come in that position in our back, in a Chaturanga position. So let's see, let's try with the first modification or steps of Chaturanga. So I want you to come into the kneeling position, like a cat pose position. Maybe facing this side in the beginning first a little bit, please. So see, when you do the Chaturanga, so basically when you bend the elbows, usually what happens, the elbows goes like a outward direction as we do the Chaturanga. So yeah, like we'll try to keep the elbows like inward as much possible, closer to the ribs, so which will help us to get the more stability in our body. So what you're going to do, we're going to roll our arms like in the beginning. Look at the arms here, trying to roll the upper arms forward, like a outward, like a downward facing dog, exactly the same movement. Upper arms rolling outward here. So as the head of the elbows goes backward towards the thighs, so what you're going to do is just bend the knees in this position and moving the body, like lowering the upper body slowly, 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 and elbows getting very close to the ribs as much possible, perfectly like that. So we'll try to make this action, keeping the shoulder high, elbows close to the ribs, and then push yourself back and come back to the kneeling position. Let's try the first easiest way to Chaturanga. So we're gonna use some props for example, for the beginner, those have the weak arms or weak shoulders. So let's try. I want you to please take the bolster, and see this bolster we're gonna use for the Chaturanga. Maybe we can facing this side now. So let me. Okay, let's try. So now we have the nice height, or we can keep the knees it is still connected with the floor in this position. So I keep the bolster underneath her torso in this position. So elbows and the wrist align, and keep the wrist a little bit more further in this position, a little bit slightly forward. Rolling the upper arms forward, shoulder moving backward, spine straight in neutral position. Then as we exhale, bend the elbows here and trying to shifting the weight on the hands and leaning the body and bringing the belly down, chest down to the bolster. You can rest a little bit in this position. So we have just to have the idea like a belly resting on the bolster, move the tailbone in and take the legs one by one back. You can straight the leg in this position. And you can even resting the thighs a little bit, like pressing the tailbone in and lifting the thighs and knees up. So with support of the bolster, it will help us to just to have the understanding of our spine and our tailbone in Chaturanga position. Trying to roll the tailbone in, Nikki, a little bit more in, tailbone in, and lift your thighs up, push the hips down a little bit down from here, press here, and lift your thighs and knees upward. Yes, like that. Keep the knees and thighs upward, and shoulders moving backward, and elbows nicely clip into the body. Trying to squeeze the arms nicely into the ribs as much possible, and drawing the shoulder blade backward and moving the tailbone a little bit in this position. Just stay there for a bit, pressing the hands. As you exhale, drop the knees down, press the hands, and push yourself backward or lift yourself up in a child position or Vajrasana position. So one of the easy way to perform the Chaturanga by using the bolster. Or now, see what happens also if you're using the so many props, it depends on the props completely, so we cannot do it correctly. But in a props, just for some time is okay, but not to practicing all the time with the props. Otherwise, we get used to them and we cannot develop the strength in our arms. So let's see now another way to do the Chaturanga. Let's try without bolster now, the same way as we get into the position. So I want you again come into the kneeling position, and rolling the arms quickly forward as we did in before. So you bend the elbows and keep the knees on the floor. Bend your elbows and leaning the body slowly, slowly like forward. Yes, like that, exactly, using the shoulder strength. And now move the tailbone in, Nikki, like perfect. And shoulder tip lifting up and knees remain on the floor. But still, this is a modification. Still you feel difficult, you can drop the chest down or chin down, but keep the belly still high, like a 8-limb position as you do the Ashtanga and Namaskar asana. Yeah, exactly like that. So still you have some weight on the hands. So the modification, if somebody have really weak shoulders and weak arms, so like a 8 limbs position. Just stay there for a bit. As you exhale, press your palm and push yourself back or come into the cobra and then swing back in a child position. So the second modification, let's try with the third modification. We can use as well to, for example, if somebody dropping the shoulder too low, they have the arm strength, but the shoulder tip going very close to the floor. But we can use the brick for them to have that lift in our shoulder. For example, I take the 2 brick here. So according the length of our arms, we're going to use the brick in the first label, second label, or third label. But most of the time we use it in the third label. So now I want you to keep the hands close to the brick, behind the brick, and fingers pointing like you can keep the brick inside like this way. Yeah. Now roll the arms forward. Yeah, shoulder width apart. So bricks shoulder width apart. Now you roll the arms forward, bend the elbows, and lean forward and bring the tips of the shoulder on the brick. So you're gonna rest the tip of the shoulder on the brick. Yeah, to get some support. Perfect. Pressing the hand, then you tuck your toes and lift your knees. Tuck your toes under and lift your knees up away from the floor. Perfect. You move the buttocks down and lift your knees and thighs upward. Very good. Elbows pressing in and pressing the hips down and thighs, front of the thigh, lifting high away from the floor. So the buttocks rolling down towards the crease of the buttocks nicely into the thigh, and ascend your thighs from here, kneecap lock and heels pushing backward. Shoulder moving backward, chest expand in this position. Try to push the sternum forward and elbows clip into the body. Just stay there for a bit. As you exhale, drop your knee down, press the palm and push yourself back a little bit into the child pose. Just stay there for a bit. Head down, hands next to your body. Just take a couple of breaths in this position. Relax your arms, your shoulders. So by using the brick like that, we can avoid that tilt in our shoulder. So we have the brick, it will help us to push the shoulder back and open the chest as well, and will help us to find the straight back in a Chaturanga position. Okay, so let's try the Chaturanga with the strap, which will help us to keep our body like high off the floor. So for that, we're gonna use the strap like shoulder width apart. We're gonna make a 1 loop. So I make a small loop. So we're going to keep the loop our shoulder width apart. So as we adjust the strap, we're gonna keep this buckle first of all always like away from the skin. So in this way, we're gonna keep the buckle facing down, and hence we're gonna adjust the strap in just above our elbows in this position. So let's try now. Yeah, is okay for you? More tight, a little bit. Yeah, shoulder width apart. Yeah, now come into the same kneeling position. Now here we're rolling the biceps out again a little bit. Now bend the elbows and lean your body a little bit forward. So the strap goes just underneath our chest on our floating ribs. So yeah, as we drop the body down, the strap will help us to squeeze the elbows inward, and then you can tuck your toes and straight the leg one by one, lifting the knees high away from the ground. Then we have the more time, once we are stable in this position, we have more time to readjust ourselves. We can rolling the tailbone in this position. Same time we can ascending our thighs up, rolling the thighs and knees inward, pushing the heels back, pulling the kneecap up and keeping the shin bone high, engaging the core and make the back flat as much possible. Shoulder tip up and back and lengthen the spine towards the crown of the head. So keep the knees and thighs higher and keep rolling the like buttocks down, and same time strongly pushing the thighs up away from the floor. Just stay there for a bit. By using the strap, we can hold the Chaturanga more longer time. So we have the more time to readjust the other part of the body. So as you release, drop the knee down, push the floor and push yourself backward, and then slowly release. You can release the strap. Now let's see how we can assisting somebody like a partner adjustment in Chaturanga. So let's try. I want you to come into the kneeling position from the kneeling position. Now bend your elbows, rolling the arms forward and get into the Chaturanga the same way as we do, and tuck your toes and lift your knees up. So if you're helping somebody, just get over and hook hook the calf muscle with your calf to the partner pelvic bone. You can helping them in this way to stay high, and same time you can give little support to the shoulder for them if required, if they are strong arms, so you don't need. But yeah, if somebody feeling like the weak arms, so we can helping them to lift up, give the little support, and using the thigh, our calf muscle to squeeze the buttocks, so they can have a more, they can stay more longer, knees, thighs a little bit upward. Yeah, as I release, slowly I release my knees, legs, I move my feet away from her body, and then slowly can push yourself backward and relax in child pose. Relax in balasana for a bit. Take the hands next to your body. Just relax your shoulders, your arms. You okay?
Yeah, just my feet were
Slippery, yeah.
slipping backwards this way.
Yeah, let's try one more time. Last time, Chaturanga again. But for that, we can use the wall. See, usually what happen, we are working on the arms so much in Chaturanga. But what about if we work on our legs, like instead to leaning forward, we shift the body weight back towards our heel. For example, we push the heel backward. So we'll have the more weight on our legs. Maybe we can stay a little bit longer. So for that, we're going to use the wall. So we can shoot from the front side. Yeah. So I want you to come into the plank position again. Yeah, you can use the strap for that again to just to have the, yeah, like that. So on the, yeah, let's try again. You come into the plank position. You start. Okay, so we come into the plank position. Your hands a little bit more forward, underneath the shoulder. Lift your knees up. First in the plank. Yeah. Yeah. Now slowly bend the elbows. That's it. Now see, usually what happen, our heels goes away from the wall. But let's try if you push the heel back towards the wall. Like this action, you're pushing the heels backward towards the wall, shifting the weight backward. So maybe we can use our legs more stronger in this position, lifting the thighs up and pushing the heels strongly against towards the wall, pressing the heels strongly on the wall and shifting the body weight back towards our feet, which will also allow us to be stable in this position in Chaturanga. Then press the palm, drop the knees down and slowly push yourself back and come back to the center. Release. Yeah, let's see the another adjustment of Chaturanga. If someone doing Chaturanga, so we can use the strap. So please come into the Chaturanga, Nikki. Yeah, lift it slowly. So as you come in Chaturanga, I take the strap the same way. Instead of using the legs, I give the support to her bone here, and I'm lifting her. So you can drop the weight on my arms on the strap. You can move the tailbone in. Yeah, knees, thighs lifting up, and like pushing yourself backward. So it also the similar like using the thighs or calf muscles, but I'm using the strap this time. You lift your shoulder up here. Yeah, lifting upward, and then exhale, push, drop the knees down, and push yourself back, and then release. Relax.